Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. If you guys are new, hi, what's up? My name is Hannah, and in this video I'm just going to be sharing my personal health and fitness journey, along with telling you guys how I'm eating and the workouts that I'm doing now, and also sharing some advice and some tips. Okay, so first off, I want to give you guys a little bit of a background, kind of how I grew up, and that will kind of give you guys a better idea on my childhood, I guess. So my parents are both super healthy, so I grew up eating really well, and they have both been going to the gym and working out regularly since they were teenagers, and also all of my siblings have gone to the gym at one point or another, so it is very much in the family, and we're all very interested in health and nutrition, so it is a big part of our lives. So as a kid, I was a pretty active child. I was always playing outside with my brothers. We were riding bikes and scooters, and honestly, most of my time was spent outside. Was I as active as my brothers? No. But was I a pretty active kid? Yes. We would play hide and seek a lot. We'd run around the whole neighborhood. So I never actually did a proper workout until I was probably like 12 or 13. And honestly, I didn't need to because I was getting exercise in different ways. So overall, my siblings and I were pretty healthy kids growing up. Now that you guys have a little idea about how I grew up, you guys will have a better understanding of the year of 2020 for me. So at the beginning of 2020, I turned 14 and I was still in Romania with my mom and my two brothers. And a month later, COVID started. My dad was already back in the US, and with time going on, flights were getting harder and harder to book. So me, my mom, and my brothers had to get back to the US so we could be with our dad. And our plan was to go back to the States at the beginning of 2020, but it was just a couple months later. So it did catch us a little bit off guard because we did have to go back a little bit earlier. So I think I can say this for just about everybody. 2020 was probably the worst year of most people's lives for many reasons, and I'm going to explain that now. So while we were there, I mostly stayed indoors, firstly because it is very hot in Mississippi, especially in the summertime, and also because I don't have any friends in Mississippi because I grew up in Romania my whole life. So when we do go back to the States to visit, I basically just hang out with my family because I don't have any friends there. And COVID on top of everything, with restrictions, I wasn't able to go out even if I did have friends. Adding to that, our house was also out in the country, so there was literally absolutely nothing to do but play in the woods. In the middle of 2020, my online business started doing pretty well. At first, I was selling watercolor cards, and then I ended up saving up and buying this iPad right here. So again, I was spending a few hours at least a day working on these portraits. So again, staying inside, sitting on the couch, laying in my bed, whatever, working on this iPad. During this time, I also was not eating very well. Obviously, my mom was still cooking every day and making good healthy meals, but along with that, I started snacking a lot more, eating a lot at night, having ice cream at least twice a week, eating a lot more processed foods like chips and chocolate throughout the whole week, and eating like that just became a habit. And during this time, I also wasn't working out at all, except for the odd Chloe Ting 2-week ab videos. And honestly, those challenges never worked for me. I would never make it past day 5. So we can say that during 2020, I did not realize that I was slowly and steadily gaining weight. Fast forward to when I got back to Romania on January 19th of 2021. This is the year when I started trying to take care of my body and kind of started my health journey. I didn't want to talk too much about weight in this video, but just to give you guys a general idea, before I went back to the States, so I just turned 14, I was probably around 47 to 48 kilos, and when I got back, I was more like 58. When I got back to Romania, that's when I really started noticing that I did gain weight, especially looking back at the pictures from my sister's wedding. One of the main things that I noticed was the change in my face. Like, I just had much chubbier cheeks and I just wasn't as slim as I used to be. I felt like a slob, inactive, honestly like a couch potato because I wasn't doing anything, and I just felt unhealthy. This is when I decided that I need to make a change and start working out and changing the way I was eating. So here's what I did to get more active, lose some weight, and feel more confident again. One of the first things that I did was track my food, but only for a week or two. I did this just so I could get an idea of what I was eating, how much I was eating, so I knew kind of what changes I needed to make. I know for some people, tracking your food can become very toxic. For me personally, I use it as a tool, and in the beginning it did really help. Another huge thing that helped me was the fact that I stopped eating snacks after dinner. That way I had a longer period of time between meals for my body to rest and digest. The next thing that I started doing was incorporating exercise into my daily routine. Some of the workouts that I started doing were Caroline Gervin's videos, and those were really great strength training workouts that I could also do in my bedroom. Another thing I did in the first 2 months was intermittent fasting. Basically what I did was wait longer to eat in the morning. I would start my day with water and a bulletproof coffee. So I was still getting some nutrients and healthy fats to start my day. I would wait until about 11 to eat, so I did have quite a bit of time from like 6 p.m. when I ate supper to 11 the next day. This naturally put me in a slight caloric deficit, which, as you guys know, if you want to lose weight, you do need to be in a caloric deficit, whether that's upping your exercise or changing the way you eat. For me, I was basically doing both of those things. So for lunch, I would eat a loaded up salad with some type of protein on top, like black beans, and of course healthy fats like avocado and maybe a little bit of olive oil in the dressing. I would also put on hemp seeds, flax seeds, and a homemade dressing that my mom would make. We really enjoyed this tahini one, and I also love avocado dressings. So along with eating this way, I was regularly working out, so I was able to lose weight and gain a little bit of muscle at the same time, especially in the first 2 to 3 months. That's probably when I saw the most progress. After the first few months, I was a little bit less strict with myself and started to have small breakfasts to help fuel my workouts. In the first 6 months, I was able to lose about 10 kilos, so I was back to where I was before 2020. After that, I started eating a little bit more and working out harder, so the next couple months after, I gained maybe 3 kilos back. Honestly though, after I initially lost the weight, I stopped looking at the scale and focused more on things like how I was eating and making sure I was getting enough exercise. Now I kind of want to talk about where I am now and what my eating and exercise has been looking like. So I've now been going to an actual gym since May. Granted, I was working out before that. I was just doing at-home workouts, but then in May, when I went back to the States, I did start going to the gym, and then when I got back to Romania, I started going to the gym here. So I do circuit training, normally 4 exercises, one after another with about a 30-second break in between each exercise, then repeating that 3 to 5 times. 4 is usually the sweet spot, but sometimes on weaker days, I might only do 3 rounds, and then especially if I have ultimate frisbee later in the day, I don't want to kill myself in the morning. So honestly, it depends, and it changes all the time. I just do what feels best on that day. And then of course, I also do a warm-up, stretching, and mobility. So for Monday, that's just about always lower body day. I focus more on using the machines like leg press, leg extensions, and adding another 2 exercises like deadlifts and hip thrusts. For Tuesday, obviously upper body. I do exercises in the order of chest, back, shoulders, triceps, and biceps. And the way that I work out is I do 1 exercise for each muscle group. I don't do multiple exercises just for biceps. I find that a little bit inefficient when you really don't need that many exercises for 1 muscle group. So for Wednesday, it's kind of my different day. I normally do cardio and abs, or like the 12 through 30 challenge on the treadmill, except I would change it to 12 4 30 to make it a little bit harder. And then I also started doing sprints. Thursday again is lower body, but I'm incorporating harder exercises like Bulgarian split squats and elevated squats. I think what makes Bulgarian split squats harder is the fact that your foot is up on a bench, so you have to work on your balance and you need to use your core to be stable in the exercise. And same with elevated squats, like with your heel up on a plate. Honestly, those kill me every time, but I do absolutely love them. Friday again is upper body, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about that in a second. And then for Saturday, I usually play ultimate frisbee for 2 to 3 hours in the evening, and Sunday is a full rest day, maybe a walk and maybe some stretching. But Sunday for me is a day to go to church and then lay in bed all afternoon. I now play ultimate frisbee around 2 times a week, unless we're preparing for a tournament. Then like this week, for example, I have 4 practices, so that is why I do almost no cardio at the gym. Okay, so for upper body, I do 2 types of workouts that I kind of switch out. Like for one upper body day, I might do bench press then lat pull downs for chest and back, but then another upper body day, I might do push-ups and assisted pull-ups for chest and back. So I kind of have different exercises that I like to do each week. It just depends on which upper body day I do them. So I can kind of just switch them out depending on how strong and how I'm feeling that day. And I do the same with lower body. I might do more machines one day and then those more difficult exercises another day. So it just kind of depends. So as for how I'm eating right now, I'm not currently tracking, but I kind of feel like I need to at least a little bit to make sure that I'm getting enough nutrition, considering I am getting extra exercise along with the gym because I'm playing ultimate frisbee. We eat mostly plant-based. We rarely eat meat, so normally get our protein from different types of plants like different kinds of beans, lentils, quinoa, tofu, etc. I'm definitely not as strict as I was when I first started my health journey, but I still keep up the habit of not eating after dinner, except sometimes on the weekend and when I feel like I need to eat extra after a long practice. And I have to say that I do really enjoy afternoon snacks like rice chips or gluten-free pretzels or hot chocolate, apples, stuff like that. So now on to my tips. When you're first starting your health journey, I don't recommend starting with a super strict diet. It usually won't be sustainable and will leave you craving the foods that you're trying not to eat to reach your goals. At the beginning, try making small changes like not eating after dinner so that you have a longer period between your meals, or even just incorporating extra vegetables at each meal. It's so much easier to add little things into your routine, like adding vegetables to each meal, than to take out all the things that you don't want to be doing anymore, because slowly all these things that you're starting to do to get towards your goals will kind of push your bad habits out of the way, and it will be so much easier. Another thing you can do is trying to drink at least 2 liters of water a day. Honestly, having a cool new water bottle helped me so much at the beginning. This is it, this is the water bottle that I bought in 2020. It is my emotional support water bottle. I bring this thing everywhere with me. Another thing is making sure you get some kind of exercise each day. Doesn't matter what it is, it can be something super small, but just starting to incorporate little bits of exercise each day. Another tip is don't set a huge goal for yourself at the beginning, like go to the gym 5 times a week. This, especially in the beginning, can be really overwhelming and you might not be able to stick to it for longer than a week. That's why it's a lot easier to start slow with things like daily walks, following short workout videos, stretching, or even just setting the goal to go to the gym once a week. At the beginning, just try making small changes and setting achievable goals. Then when you hit them, it's much more encouraging than setting these huge goals that you'll never be able to hit, and then it's just super discouraging and you're not going to want to continue. Now, to kind of close this up, there are a couple things that I want to mention. I personally don't think that calorie and macro tracking is for everyone. If you don't have a good relationship with food, it can become toxic and cause problems. Only do it if you're using it as a tool to achieve your goals. Another thing I wanted to mention was using a scale. I don't think it's necessarily bad because yes, it does show that you're losing or gaining weight. I don't think you should be stepping on the scale every day. There's so many things that contribute to your weight on a day-to-day basis. Your salt and water intake the day before, what you ate the day before, when the day you're weighing yourself, your weight is always changing. So if anything, don't weigh yourself more than once a week and don't give it too much importance. Again, use it as a tool. Another thing I wanted to mention regarding exercise is try different things. Exercise and health is not one size fits all. Everybody's body's different, everyone is different, and the exercise that they enjoy doing is obviously going to be different for everybody. When you're just starting out, don't just do one type of exercise. You might not enjoy it and get bored, and then maybe you'll stop exercising altogether. If you're not enjoying what you're doing right now, then try something else. Nobody's stopping you, and it's for your own benefit. You never know, there might be a type of exercise that you will absolutely love doing, you just haven't discovered what that is yet. The goal is to find out what that exercise is for you so that you will look forward to doing it, enjoy doing it, and loving how it makes you feel afterwards. So I think that is everything that I wanted to say in this video, but honestly I wanted to make this video for a long time, but I was a little bit nervous. I didn't know how I was going to give out all this information and tell my personal story, but I just had to sit down and finally write out this outline and make this video. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to go down below and subscribe. If you haven't already, tell me on my goal to 5,000 subscribers by the end of this year. If you guys have any questions for me or my parents, as you guys may or may not know, my dad is a certified personal trainer and nutritionist. He's a registered dietitian and he has a lot of background, especially in the gym. He was a bodybuilder and all types of stuff. So him and my mom both have a lot of knowledge. If you guys have any questions regarding health and fitness, feel free to comment them down below and I will respond. I can even get my parents to answer you guys' questions to make sure that I'm giving out the correct information. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you guys next week with another video. Bye!